How are you, man?
I'm good, dude. How are you?
Yeah, good. Thanks for
Good,
doing
good,
this.
good. Yeah, that's all right. That's all right.
This is
Once I finally found it, yeah, that's
yeah,
all
yeah, yeah, yeah,
right.
yeah, yeah.
Google Maps, you suck.
Because you're fucking way out, aren't you? You said you're way
I'm
out in the
way
ass.
out. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm way, way, way out past Dandenong.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
so
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
What's the
So
area again?
it's
Like Pakenham way, is it?
well, yeah, it's like out packing them way.
Yeah,
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So it's out there. Yeah.
Is it good?
Hey man, look.
Because I'm looking
Okay.
out there at the moment. Like,
Yeah. Okay. Look. Okay. Yes. Now, hold on. Now,
it's a loaded answer.
no. The reason why I say yes
Yeah.
is because, well, look, dude, I grew up in another country. I was a city kid,
Mhm.
so I was sort of used to, uh,
The
it's a
opposite.
different energy.
Yeah.
But that's not. Listen, I mean, uh, uh, to raise kids and to have all that stuff, dude, it's amazing.
Yeah. Okay.
It's
Yeah.
amazing. It was just one of those things that if somebody were to say, hey, did you know that this is going to happen to you? I would have been like, yeah, man, okay, I'll put money on that.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Exactly.
Because that
Yeah.
ain't going to happen.
Yeah. I'm going to
But
short that stock.
but it did, and it's one of those things where, as you say, you just don't know where life's going to take you sometimes. Um, and so sometimes instead of fighting it, you know, you just kind of just lean into it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And then obviously things come out of that. But that's also like, when because obviously, you have a little kid now, Now when I have my little kid, I was thinking, oh man, how am I gonna do this? Right? That whole that whole conundrum. But
Born
then
here.
no, well, one was born here and the other was born over there.
Okay.
And so when my first kid was born, I thought, oh man, how are we gonna do this? You know what I mean? That whole thing. But but at the same time, there was a certain calm that happened. And as soon as I leaned into that, dude, stuff just started coming.
Yeah. Okay.
And it was like,
yeah.
and so, and that just reminds me of something else. Cause I think also too, when we're talking about actually just kind of letting go, um, when you think in terms of, cause look, the world's just been through, not just last year, and let's put it, for quite a few years, it's been going through some dramatic changes.
Yeah.
Whether or not if let's say if we've been open to it or not, there's always been a certain there's been something going on that we see people who are are fighting who never fought before. We just feel this tension, and I think out of that, everybody's trying to find that breath again to relax, which is hard.
It's hard. Yeah.
Because the thing is, as you said, you had your despair, you
Yeah.
lean into.
Yeah.
But the thing is, sometimes you have to learn when can I actually get up and breathe?
Yeah.
And it's knowing, and when it's safe to breathe, and that's another thing, So it's just finding that, and and I'm going down a lot of avenues here. I'm going down a lot of avenues here. It's also knowing when is it safe to breathe, but also in around who.
Yeah. Okay.
Because this whole pandemic has kept everybody inside, and and lo and behold, look at what's happening with Facebook, where people are um, where there would have been a little more compassion. You just see like everybody, oh, this is happening because of this, and this is happening because of that, and so there's so much uh, uh, because people aren't connecting anymore.
Oh yeah, and this has been coming for a long time,
and it's been coming for a long time, and so it's almost like we need to get that public trust back in each other again. And
well, this is this tension that you're talking about. You feel it everywhere you go. People losing their shit over the most simplest of things.
Thank you. Right.
Yeah. Right. Like, and you just fucking relax, everyone, relax, and eventually, it starts to infect the people who are relaxed, because then you have a collective consciousness of people who are wound up tight.
That's right.
Yeah, and popping.
But it also goes to prove that really you can only eat from a certain source for so long without it having to affect you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Shit, I even think monks are going around going, "Hey man, fuck this, I'm done."
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, dude, I have a very good friend who is just fanatical about Trump. And I'm like, you live in Perth, bro. I've known this guy for fucking 20 years.
I know, right?
And I'm like, why do you give a fuck? And why are you like so passionate about it? And and that's the symptom of I mean, when people when you see your good friends, and I'm not for or against, right? This is where I stand in the whole thing is this is what I said to him. You're telling me that everything that the left is, and I'm going to nip this right in the bud real quick. We don't have a big political conversation. We'll get back to the acting, but you're telling me that everything is fake news, whatever. It's all bullshit. It's all bullshit. Yet everything that you're telling me that from your sources is real.
It's true.
And I was like, well, unless you work in the Pentagon,
thank you.
You don't fucking know what you're talking about.
Thank you.
You know, no one's got the inside line. Everyone thinks they do.
Everybody thinks they do. And but here's the thing. It scares me when, and dude, I can remember the day I'm sitting there because, I try to keep up on with certain things, and I'm watching Meet the Press and I'm sitting there and I remember when they asked, was it Carrie Ann Connolly? Was that her name? Kennelly,
like the midday show chick.
No. This is American. She was in the White House. Carrie Ann, she was part of Trump's White House. And when she turned around and actually said, see, those are alternative facts. When she said that, and you know what? The guy from Meet the Press is usually he's a political head. He's amazing, always very cool. Likes to see both sides of the argument. When he did this, he kind of went, and rolled his eyes, right? I went, oh, wow. Okay. You know what I mean? So it's, you're going to, I always say it's always important to watch what you take in. Okay. All right. Let's say this. If you're going to be working out, you're going to be an elite athlete, you're not going to sit there and be eating McDonald's every day.
No, 100% no. You need to saturate yourself in the stuff that helps you get your objective.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. And I think now, even with news, I think that needs to be there needs to be checks and balances within that, just to make sure. Because let's be honest, at the end of the day, it just should be facts. Opinions are something different on a different page, different channel, whatever. But news just needs to be facts.
Yeah.
Just give me the facts and let me sort it out.
Yeah, what long gone are the investigative journalism days and what have you, when people are actually uncovering truths.
See, whatever, that.
What happened to
like Watergate and all this.
That's the real shit. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's as I say, there needs to be, which actually I know I'm just like ding ding ding
ding ding ding. Yeah.
But even with that, there needs to be. Once that was found out, that's fine. But then there needed to be that public trust again.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Because people kind of went, oh, well, he did wrong. Okay, great. Okay, well, he's gone. Okay, great. Now, all right, what's left behind? And what do we believe and what don't we believe? But at least the question was actually put out there with the facts and not necessarily, okay, we're gonna skew it this way. And who knows, man? Maybe it was. But look, okay, that's fine. Look, if I'm going to watch a show, let me watch a show. I don't need to see the strings.
Yeah.
Right. But when I can see the strings, I kind of go, oh, okay. I'm not into it. I mean, shit, even the Muppets is more real than a lot of stuff. That, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
When you look at it, you kind of go, well, I kind of believe that more than I believe this human being over here. You know what I mean? So it's, man, it's just getting back to that essence. And, and at the end of the day, dude, look, man, we all want the same thing.
Yeah.
I don't care where you come from, what we are. We all have mother, father, sisters, brothers, aunties, wives, cousins, whatever, and we all love them, and we like to think that they love us, and going from that premise, I got to be honest, even going from that premise, to be honest, there should never be war.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
But see, we're not seeing people as human beings, and that's a whole other topic.
Well, this is the thing, right? Is we are still at war within ourselves in terms of our own evolution, right? We still have this reptilian brain, yet we have this evolved psychology,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
but after the fact, like you experience it with like your newborns and what have you. They're totally operating the same way they would have 80,000 years ago when they were born,
Mm-hmm.
And then because I have this the whole thing with people, the judgment from other parents when you're not sleep training or whatever the fuck. I'm like, kids aren't supposed to be sleep trained.
Right, yeah.
If they were in
they're
if
tired,
you were in
they're tired.
a village, you would they would just be passed around. They're internally still the same. It's just we now have jobs and we have careers that we're trying to.
But see, that's a judgment.
Totally. And it's a bunch
you
of
see
bullshit.
My point?
Yeah.
And so that in and of itself kind of goes,
Well,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. So everyone's looking outwardly always.
Yes.
And Jordan Peterson, say what you will about him, says it best. He said, if every single person on the planet focused inwardly and just sorted their shit and got right, game over for all the shit in the world. Right? It would. You imagine if 7 billion people all meditated for 10 minutes in the morning.
Oh, dude! Now see that? Yeah,
that's transcendence. That's
thank you.
We're into the next realm.
Thank you. We'd be communicating like dolphins.
Right. It's and that's what Elon Musk talks about his Neuralink. He said when that actually comes to fruition and it's not just used for medical reasons and what have you, there will be this upload of intellect for everyone.
Yeah.
And the intellect will transcend rage and war and crap and insecurities and all that kind of stuff because you will be able to think your way through it. And you're empowered by emotional choice. I choose to feel happy as opposed to feeling angry. A lot of people don't know how to have that choice, and it takes a lot of willpower and training and blah 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 blah. But Neuralink will be able to just load that up straight away, and then we will have transcendence, I think. Let's get back into
That's not bad, dude.
Yeah,
I like that. Cheers to that.
Cheers, man. Over the mics.
I know. Don't bump the mics.
So you and I met at Mark Diaco's recent performance for Burn This.
Burn This, yes.
Yeah, which was really cool because for lots of reasons. I mean, it all stems from this podcast and Mark coming on and he came back on to promote the show and then me going along solo, which I wasn't supposed to. My mate pulled out.
Okay.
And if my friend had come, then I would have been sitting somewhere else. And the only reason I was sitting where I was sitting was because it was the only single seat left.
Right.
And then I was sitting next to you.
Right.
And then obviously we got talking and I had seen you in Blood Vessel, which we had a great chat about. And then of course Justin was on here talking about Blood Vessel and all the stories.
Yeah.
So that's how you and I know each other. But you've been, I mean, I was just looking at your IMDb before. I mean, there's a massive credits in there. You've done some epic stuff.
Yeah. I know. I'm like,
come on, man. Yeah.
Hey, look, listen.
You're in the Matrix trilogy. That's
okay. It's funny when I always think stuff is perception. Well, you know what I mean?
How it's perceived.
Yes, how it's perceived, right? And listen, I'm, knock on wood, I'm very lucky. I've made a living out of this. But it's also like for me, it's always like, okay, when's the next job? When's the next, you know what I mean? Or am I working on this? I'm working. And so to me, it's always about like nurturing sort of the creative pool. You know what I mean? And that's not to say, listen, I'm very grateful for everything that's happened. Listen, to be honest, I'm lucky to actually be here, to be talking to you, actually breathing air. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
go down that gratitude trail.
Yeah, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But at the same time, yeah, man, look, and I appreciate it. And look, okay, I take, it's very hard for me to take a compliment. I know I'm one of those guys.
Oh,
you know what I mean? But at the same time, I'm learning. But I also think that's also part of that learning to kind of let go, breathe, and kind of go, okay, thank you, thank you.
You're welcome.
But it's for me, it's okay. That's great. All right, let's see what's happening or what's next or what other creative things can we sort of put out there. You know what I mean? Because I like to think of it as a gift. And when you do think of it that way, it sort of helps, and it does sort of take a certain pressure off. You know what I mean?
Which we're all looking for in this extremely
Which,
like
you know what
we
I
can
mean?
load our plate pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's like even meeting your little baby, that was a gift, dude. That was lovely. How lovely was that? Just the whole like just and you know what? And at the end of the day, we all want to get back to that. To that, here
The
we
purity.
are. And you talk about like if we all meditated and all this stuff, if we can just get back to that, because we all came into this world happy. We might come in crying, but that's the only reason that is to loosen up the lungs. But we came in here to do something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And just to see just that joy like through a kid's eyes, that just reminds you, and just wait until your little girl says, Daddy, so what about Santa Claus? And what about this? And it's almost, but it's those things, it's those questions that you're going to be asked where you're going to have to kind of go, ooh, okay.
I've given the Santa one a lot of thought, actually.
You know what I mean? And so it's funny how even answering a simple question that you think, okay, I got this, until you're in that situation, you don't really know, or even like, your kid might ask, hey, Dad, where's the capital, blah, 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 and I'm the first one to go, look, I don't know, but hey, let's look it up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And we live in a great age where we're able to do that like that.
Dude, just the whole, but see, here's the thing. We have I was often told that we actually have the technology to feed the world, right?
Yeah.
But we don't have the heart.
Yeah, for sure.
And that says something, you know what I mean? So that.
Are you a fan of the Venus Project? What's his name? I want to say his name is Jacques Cousteau, but I think it's not.
Okay.
It's something like that. I'm pretty sure that's the diver. I forget what this guy's name is.
But that's not the son of.
No. He was like 106 when he died about 3 years ago.
Okay.
It's something like that. Anyways, the Venus Project.
Thank you.
He was an architect of sorts, and he devised basically his whole plan or hope for the world was to come off a monetary system, and that technology ran the planet, and that only 5% of the population worked, and that the rest of us, we had a standard income. Everything was run off renewable energy.
Okay.
And it has all these designs for like frictionless train tubes that run across oceans that don't need any fossil fuels in order to run. They're just run on magnets, and generators that run off geysers, which there's enough in this one in Yellowstone or whatever.
Yeah.
To power, like each day, to power the world for a year.
Really?
And we have that technology, and we could do that.
Old faithful.
Right? We just let's get that fucking coal. Let's get that oil.
But that's based on a monetary sort of
exactly. This is everyone's just chilling and being zenned out. That's transcendence.
Well, it's transcendence. Well, the thing is too, you're also talking about everybody being on more of an equal plane, right?
Totally.
And so and in that aspect, I think it's always a good thing. You know what I mean? I don't know about that, but I'll take a look. Look that up.
If you've ever seen a film, well, you should also watch a documentary called Zeitgeist. Came out like 15, 16 years ago, and it breaks down how fucked we are as humans. And it gets right into, I hope you're not religious. Just debunking the whole Bible.
Okay.
And then 9/11 and the Federal Reserve and printing of money, the Rockefellers, the Rothschilds, that whole thing, and it gets into old mate being the antithesis of all of those, the Venus Project.
Okay.
And goes into breaking down all of the technology that he's been working on for like 40 years. That just gets knocked back every turn.
Okay.
No one's going to make it. It's really fascinating.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Well, that's like who was that? Buckminster Fuller, who developed the Geodesic Dome, and he was going to use that,
right?
And he thought that was the that was going to cure the housing problem.
Okay.
And then the way he saw it, and Geodesic Dome looks like, one of those things that you just fold out, because that's what it's based on. It's based on that, right? It looks like, and that was supposed to be um, the cure for, say, homelessness, and things along that nature, and everybody has a place to stay.
So they need that in LA, like housing right now.
Oh, dude, I can't get started on that, man. Listen, I think a lot of actors are empaths,
for sure,
to a certain extent. Now, that's not to get all woo woo and stuff like that, but we are. I think because we have to put ourselves in other people's shoes, and
if you can't feel it, then fucking you're not going to get very far.
And obviously I'm from Los Angeles, and so, but I tell you what, if I don't think anything hurts my heart more than when I go home and I see that, and obviously too, we're going through this virus, and I knew as soon as it hit, and it hit the States, I thought, oh my God, I just hope it doesn't get to certain urban centers because of that very thing, right? Now, it's natural for human beings to have contact with each other, and I think that's how we actually stay sane. I'm almost positive of it now.
We absolutely. Are you a Tony Robbins fan?
Oh, I've seen the stuff. Yeah. I mean,
another one of those people that is very polarizing in terms of who like him and who doesn't. But he talks a lot about the sort of key tenets that our species need, and that is community, certainty, and love.
Yeah,
we must have those things for us to operate on a higher level. Right. Without them, that's when we start to
break down. We start to go into that primal brain.
Yeah. And community, in that includes touch, face, like together, and is so fucking important. And it scares me that we might. I don't know. I really hope that everyone realizes now just how much they do need it, and that
we do.
Sitting at home and fucking interacting completely on Zoom is fucked. Yeah.
Well, the thing is, even going back to the work, when you watch something and it just connects with you in a way, it actually puts you, because most of the time, we think that, oh my God, my feelings are, I'm feeling this, but I don't want to burden anybody with it, blah blah blah. But then when you watch something that actually speaks to you, right? And it's you're sitting in the dark, and it's you're sitting in the dark with a bunch of other people, but you're having this community experience.
You're all sharing it together.
Dude, that's church.
You're right.
If you want to think of it that way, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But also, it's well, there's a quote that's running through my head. I'm not sure if it's Socrates or not, so don't nobody bite my head
Fact
off.
check you.
But it's the thing of and this was during the Greek times, where philosophers said that we need to see ourselves in plays, because obviously that's what was happening at the time, to understand our world, our world around us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which is quite interesting. But normally in the times of desperation, and when they want to start cutting funds, first thing that's cut is usually the arts.
Yeah. Well, wasn't there the thing 18 months ago where the latest budget that came out here was a massive cut. Yeah.
But if you actually look at it, you look at everything that we have on almost on all levels comes from a form of art.
100%. Yeah. Everything that we use is designed by someone.
But it's almost okay, and not to get religious on anybody.
Oh, but, I need to apologize.
Yeah, but no.
Saying I hope you're not religious.
But no, that's all good. No. Look, I respect. Even people you may not believe in. That's fine, dude. That's like it's what you believe.
Yeah.
The question is how do we communicate that out to others? Are we being judgmental? Are we being? You know what I mean? That's when stuff starts to kind of get. Crap.
And how do we use that knowledge, whatever it is that we believe in? Are we using it to be a better person, or are we using it to be judgmental, or
thank you,
whatever?
Thank you, right? And so, and if as you said about the meditation, if we can only make one person either smile, think, or maybe just breathe a little deeper. If you could just do that, just to one person, just one of those things, just a day.
Yeah.
then you contribute to society.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we all did that in one shape or form, right? I mean, your little girl did that to me, and I was just like, oh, okay.
It's a massive ripple effect.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's it. It's a massive ripple effect. Now, the question is, how do you want to see the world? You know?
Yeah.
And even now, and when we talk about acting, even sometimes the jobs you take, you might want to kind of go, thank you, but I don't know, because of maybe what it's saying.
Yeah, okay.
And does it
like a TV commercial?
And does it resonate with you?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And if this goes out with, and so there's all those little things that that one really should be thinking about. But at the same time, it's and obviously I'm talking for me. Everybody has their own sort of their way through life and their career and things along that nature. But it's something that basically to put somewhere in the back of your mind.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think that's probably certain. Like I'm probably in that place where if it was good, I'd take whatever. And then eventually I would hope to get into that place where I could then start to carve out an objective, but like you're saying, like a moral line through what I was doing.
Well, it's your truth. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think sometimes when we morality, like a lot of things, has been sort of hijacked and used in certain ways. You know what I mean? Now, I think regardless of what you might believe, I think, I think you should see everybody, regardless of social status, where they come from, color, race, gender, whatever, should be treated as a human being.
We all bleed the same blood,
We all bleed the same blood.
Yeah.
Now, if my back actually gets up on anything, it's usually in circumstances like that, because I cannot stand when people are mistreated for things that are really beyond their nature. You know what I mean? I cannot, I'm trying to understand that that to me, it bothers me.
Yeah.
If I can actually, and I've done things. Look, I did a movie once, dude, and the people were going, why'd you do that movie? And I said, there's a reason why I did that movie. It's because I wanted to show basically what the larger society was doing to people, but they didn't actually realize they were doing it. And so it's
which film was that?
Oh, I'm not going to tell you that, man. Now, come on now. Look at you. You're like, and so that show happened to be what now? But it's, and the thing is too, that's another thing. Whatever reasons that you do something, that's great. And that should basically live and die with you.
Yeah.
If you choose to share it, cool. But
okay.
If not, because the thing is, it will resonate with certain people. You know what I mean? It'll speak to them on a level that is unspoken, and that to me is the most powerful thing that you can have. It should almost be just like a whisper. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that to me is actually quite important. Obviously, that's and sometimes not all jobs are like that. But if you can actually sit there and be honest in the work. You know what I mean? I think that's that's important. Right now I'm going through things in my head right now where I'm thinking, yeah, but what about this job when you did that? That wasn't very honest now, wasn't it? I mean, and listen, and that's the thing too, you're gonna come up against that in this business.
Yeah, it's you said you'd watched a couple of episodes. You might have, so you can stop me because everyone.
Oh yeah, of their show.
Well, why I started this was it was we're talking about objectives and truths and trying to somehow sort of change.
Right.
The reason I started this podcast was because I'd just written a film about rhino poaching.
Okay.
And when I became an artist, like, I mean, I always I was like Mark. I was drawing comics when I was a kid, and went and studied illustration and wanted to draw for Marvel. Like that was my thing. And I changed direction when I started taking photos, and then but the whole time I'd always wanted to be an actor. And I watched a thing once with Richard Avedon, who's do you know who Richard Avedon is?
Richard Avedon.
He was like a big time high fashion photographer from the 50s.
Yes.
And he did a big spread in the late 90s, early 2000s in the Midwest. And this one guy, long story short, he took this incredible photo. This guy was literally about to kill himself. He's being interviewed a year later or whatever after the photo was exhibited in New York, and everyone who he took photos of, they were just real people, came to this exhibition. His was the lead photos. You walked in, and he said he saw himself in this giant picture, and it made him feel real. And he had lost his family, or they didn't talk to him anymore. He was an alcoholic. He was a demolition guy, and he was just a bit fucking nuts. And he said he was literally, planning his demise. And he got the call, or someone said, "Hey, come and take this photo." I don't quite remember the full ins and outs. And he completely turned his life around. And I listened to that, and I thought, wow, that should be what every artist's, I mean, every person, but every artist's objective should be, that maybe they could change someone's life with a photo or with a passage of words, or a scene in a film. And so and I remember the first shoot that I ever did, and I just reconnected with her actually. This is back in 2009. She was a singer, and she said, "Oh, well, what do you want to do?" I said, "We're going to do this whole shoot with no makeup, no nothing."
Right.
And she, when the photos came back, she was like, "You know what? I cannot believe that you got me to do a photo shoot without makeup. I can barely go to the shops without putting makeup on." And if this was 6 months down the line, she goes, "And since then, I haven't been wearing anywhere near as much makeup."
Good.
Thank you. And I was like, fucking so cool. And and so now, like with the acting, like I'm very passionate about our endangered species levels and what have you. And ultimately, I'm trying to use this podcast as a ways to bring awareness to that and to the film, and get it made, and hopefully elicit change.
Dude. Right on. Well, dude, as you should. Speaking of suicide, David Bowie, he had a record out a few years back called Jump. Do you know what that record was about?
I have no. I mean, I'm assuming now.
All right.
What
David,
year?
This was. Oh, dude, this is wild. This is way
80s?
way back. Maybe early 90s.
Okay. Yeah.
Right. Maybe 2000s. Late 90s, 2000s.
Okay.
And his brother had committed suicide.
Oh, okay.
And literally, the lyrics in it is because Bowie does that thing, especially during that time when you have the backing singers, and they'd say they say like the word jump, and then he all of a sudden, and then he would come through and say, and they said jump, right? But that's what they were screaming to his brother, was like jump, jump, jump.
What?
Right. And he was writing the lyrics. The lyrics are basically what's like
to jump. What? What is wrong with him?
But and Bowie took that and made art.
Yep.
Now another story I had.
And no doubt he was a big advocate for helping people who
of course.
Yeah.
Of course. Yeah. Well, I love Bowie because he's so esoteric. He's so just, it's not on the nose, but in a way it is.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? And so, oh my God.
He's so Bowie.
I did a show many years ago where I played
This is on stage.
No, this was television. This is television. We were filming in Queensland, and there was this spot where and you do a show and you think, okay, no one's gonna see us, but you got a job to do, you're gonna do your job, right? And I sort of, I was going through the script, and it was a fantasy show, and there was this character uh, who everyone thought was dead,
Mm-hmm.
but obviously he's there. He's come back to life, and he's basically there to be with the love of his life,
Mm-hmm.
but he's holding a dark secret,
Mm-hmm.
as you do. And I thought to myself, okay, I'll play this guy, and I just, all right. Obviously, I'm holding a dark secret, so basically, I'm lying the whole time, except I'll tell the truth just one time,
Mm-hmm.
right? Which is kind of hard, then you're trying to do that. And so I remember doing it, and there was this scene where we had to do it over. It was like over this waterfall, big thing, and I sort of had it mapped out in my head, but I didn't necessarily want to kind of just be like, okay, let's stick to the thing. I kind of wanted to play it, organically also. Um, and so we did the show. I mean, we did the scene, and all of a sudden, and I'm kind of locked in, that whole
Mm-hmm.
thing, and the actress said, "Oh my god." Right. And I'm kind of like, I'm like, what? I'm sorry. What
Mm-hmm.
you say? And she goes, oh, she goes, they never do that. And I go, what? And, and the crew were applauding. And I'm thinking, oh, okay. And I'm looking around thinking, oh, what happened? Somebody's birthday? And they went, oh, no. And that's like, and so she explains like, blah, blah, blah. And I said, oh, okay. Right. Had to put it aside because I had work to do, blah, blah, blah. So we do the show. Uh, uh, and afterwards, the actress who was lead on the show, she goes, "Oh, you're going to get a lot of mail about this." And I go, "Well, I don't read it, because I just, the whole theory of, if you believe the good stuff, you got to believe the bad stuff.
Right, right,
That
right.
whole
Yeah.
thing. So try not to, feed into that." And she goes, "Oh no, you're going to read these, right?" And I'm like, "Oh, okay, whatever, right?" That whole thing. And so, she'd send stuff. I'm not reading it. I'm not reading it. There was this one letter that came through. Now, back in the day when people actually used to write letters,
Mm-hmm.
right? This one came through. It was about that thick, dude.
Jesus
Right.
Christ.
And for everybody on radio, I'm making about 6 or 7 inches.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, okay. Right. And she goes, just please read it. That's all, from the actress. She says, please read it. So I'm reading it. I know it's a long story. I apologize.
No, no,
And
no. You're
so
the king of tangents. It's awesome.
are you kidding me? Of course. And it was this letter from a guy from Detroit,
Mm-hmm.
and he's sitting there, and he said, I said I never watch, I rarely watch TV. I just happen to have TV on in the background, to get a little backstory. This guy was married, had a kid about 6 years old. He was estranged from the wife. Things weren't going well for him. She was thinking about ending his life that day. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, and I actually started reading it, and until I was literally going to put the letter down until I got to that point,
Oh, right.
and then I said, okay, I got to finish it.
Mm-hmm.
So I keep going, and he said he was watching the show, and and I'm thinking nobody's going to see this, dude.
Mm-hmm.
That whole thing. Uh,
This is in the States.
this is shows in the state, but it actually filmed here in
Okay.
Queensland,
Right, right.
right? And I'm like, yeah. And so he's going, and he said, he goes, I was, and he's going along, blah, blah, blah. And he goes, I was actually going to end my life that day. I already had it planned. I had the pills, I had the drink. He had like 7 different ways he was going to do it.
Jesus.
Right. And I'm thinking, oh my God. And dude, I'm reading, listen, and it's this thing of, and, and I hate morbid sort of fantasy type thing. But I kept thinking, oh my God. I kept thinking, oh God, please don't. You know what I mean? And then I'm thinking about, and then I had to kind of get away from it, thinking,
I don't want to know.
I don't, you know what I mean? Because if it's true, and then I'm thinking, okay, why would she send me that? Unless, of course,
Yeah,
you know,
right.
but all that's going through your head, right?
Yeah.
And so he said it was a thing of he goes, I don't know what it was. I don't know why I connected with it, but at the same time, you just sort of showed me that um that no matter how bad things can get, there's always some redemption. That's sort of making, long story short.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, and so instead of he goes, by this time I was drunk. By the time he ended the episode, he was drunk. But he said, instead of actually taking the pills, I called my ex. And I literally told her everything I was going to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, eventually they did get back together. But he said it was like, he said at one point, sorry, I don't mean to laugh. This sounds awful. He says at one point, he kind of went, you know what, man, if they play another commercial, I swear to God. Like he's actually thought that.
On the fucking knife edge.
You know what I mean? And I kind of went, oh my God, And so
fucking commercials.
And then the actress called me to say, hey, did you read it? And I said, yeah, I read it. Yeah. And I just said, thank you. You know what I mean?
And you contacted him? Did you get back to him?
I have written him. Yes.
Yeah.
I have written him, and they're doing well now. And actually he had, yes, I talked to him right after New Year's. And so, and it's, and listen, even when I kind of go, because sometimes it can be a bit, and I kind of go, no, man, you know what? I'm having a good day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm having a good day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And listen, let's be honest. I mean, we live in a really great country.
Mm-hmm.
We are, if you have a home over your head, you have food in the fridge, you can get around. Dude, you're better than like 99% of a lot of people.
Man.
You know what I mean? And so really to
there's a loss of perspective.
You know what I mean?
Most people. Yeah.
And I think, listen, and as I said, like the one thing that does get on me is when people are injustice, which I think really everybody should be. Because really we should be our brothers and sisters, thank you very much, or whoever, keeper.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
because it's and I think if one thing has taught me during this past year is like, we have to do it and be vigilant about it.
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes the powers that be are sometimes just that, and not very compassionate, and not looking out for not really doing the job they're supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
No, totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
It's
that age-old thing of saying whatever they need to say to get to the place to then fulfill their other objective. Yeah.
And so I kind of find that, and and even the powers that be have to be spoken to make sure that why they were put there. They do their job.
Well, it seems like the people who are supposed to keep the people who are keeping us in check have no power, or don't do it. Like at least in Australia, and I don't know much about American politics or whatever, but at least in Australia we have the Governor General who can step in and go, this ain't fucking working. See you later. I think they've only ever had to step in once, but but we need to go back to the part that you glossed over about what you actually did in the scene. And what people
did I say anything about saying?
You didn't say it. You just steamrolled straight through that.
So. Did I? No, did I? Mr. Segway over here. Okay. I'm just trying to think what I did in the scene. Oh no. What I was okay. All right, to give you a little context, because you have to get time. All right, what happened was I made a deal with the devil to come back. For 24 hours.
Yeah.
And I had to take the love of my life to literally the gates of hell, kill her so we can be together forever.
Right.
Oh, that's what I was supposed to do. Light subject, right? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And so that was it. And so, and it's that thing too, where I said I was only going to tell the truth once, and that was the only time I could tell the truth, because everything else, if I didn't get her there, because I had to get her there,
it would have ruined the plan,
right? Yeah. So basically, I had to,
lie.
Well, I had to lie. Well, lie is not necessarily telling the truth, not necessarily the whole truth, but basically, it's a thing of love, because somebody that you have feelings for and have a history with, you might give them sometimes a little more leeway without hearing the whole story first, right? But also, that being said, it's what's funny is like you can know somebody your whole life and you can be looking at them kind of going, really? Come on, man. How can da, 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 da.
Right.
Complete stranger can walk up and you'd be like, just, hey man, how's it going? Yeah. Oh no, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah, go ahead. Just take a shit on my carpet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so it's funny how that works sometimes. But yeah, and so that was the scene. And so
So you're at the gates of hell.
and so literally I'm at the gates of hell. And so basically I was basically telling her why I was here. So I was basically preaching the truth. And I remember when we did it, we had sort of this shot where, we had to run around and then they were going to come in close. And I kind of wanted to know how they're going to map that out so I can kind of, see how I was going to do my thing. And I'm all anytime that I'm shooting something, I'm always like, I'll always listen to the cinematographer and the director, you know what I mean, just to see how, because you're taking things over,
100%. Yeah.
you know what I mean?
I like to know what the camera's doing for sure.
And yeah, and so we did, and it wasn't like and it's he's you turn on the waterworks a little bit, but also it's that thing of I forgot how many times we did, dude. It must have been, I don't know. I think I lost count at 18. You know what I mean?
Wow.
But because it was connected to something, it didn't matter. It was like, all right, let's go. All right, hey, all right. So what's scene is this? Okay, yeah, let's go.
Do you like a lot of takes, or do you prefer a smaller
Actually,
amount?
to tell you the truth, I like to get my engine running.
Right.
I like to get my engine running, dude.
Okay.
So to me, it's almost like if somebody can say, "Hey, look, all right, well, let's guide into this." And I'd rather do a scene where we're talking about it, because everybody has and whether or not if you're gonna say what you do, but I like to get like everybody in on it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even if that person's just sitting there, he's sitting at the door. No, get your ass over here, because we got to talk about this.
Yeah, because then
You know what I mean?
well. So this is
Well, it's a
100%.
collaborative art.
Yeah. And with PEM they have PEM sets where all of the crew are trained in the same techniques. So that when you're going into a really upbeat scene or you're going into a really
and
dark
everybody
scene, they're
plays it.
channeling the same thing. So the whole fucking room is connected to the same technique. And you just,
that's interesting.
Yeah, I think that's
interesting,
because there's nothing worse. Just ask Christian Bale than having someone fucking walking through, not making jokes, and you're all starting trying to cry and whatever, and they're fucking get that motherfucker out of here.
Yeah. Well, look, also too, I think that's that thing of your personal space.
Yeah.
And I think your personal space is true. It has to be protected because you got something to do. You know what I mean? Now, do you expect everybody to be on board? No, that's fine.
No.
But you know what? Just
respect.
leave me my, you know what I mean? And that's fine. But also too, I am a firm believer in this. If I'm lashing out at somebody for that,
you mean in real time or in scene?
and no, not in the scene, not in the scene, in real time, in real time. Then all right, then I'm off balance. Something's, you know what I mean? And I can understand being mad. Yeah, fuck, you know what I mean? Of course. But at the same time, it's kind of like going, okay, man, I got a job to do. I got a job to do. I'll walk away. And Lord knows I've walked away. I walk, away from stuff just to get my own personal thing.
Sure. Yeah. Just
you know
to
what I mean?
It. Yeah.
Because I know if I'm expelling that, you know what I mean? It I could be using that somewhere else.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, that's pretty good.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But at the same time, look, I mean, there's there's famous stories about Gene Hackman. He's coming in, he's coming into the thing and they're doing the scene. They have a scene in the afternoon where he has to be like everybody's supposed to fear him and that whole thing, and so he, like beforehand, like before the scene, like right before lunch, right, he's like losing his shit, everybody, and everybody's just like kind of going, whole thing, and then like afterwards he comes in and it's like he comes in and everybody's kind of on tender hooks and he's going, how's it going, guys? I'm going,
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
what the fuck? Now, mind you, look, I find that a little dirty, but uh you know, and I guess at the end of the day, look, you know, you do want to get that emotion. You do
Yeah,
want to get
yeah.
that thing.
Yeah, and
You know,
some people need that precursor. They need that build up, that
mm,
ramp up, and some people like you know Anthony Hopkins and I've heard Leonardo DiCaprio is the same. It's fucking there is no spillover. It's
mm,
just action, and then
yeah,
whatever it is
it
there,
is.
and
It's
then it's
there.
cut, and
Yeah.
he's Leo, and then it's
Yeah.
back in. Yeah,
Yeah. Look, I now I can kind of understand. Okay, you know, call me by whatever you call my character. Okay, I can. And on one hand, I can understand that,
mm-hmm.
but now it could be that thing of, all right, look, dude, I'm playing a serial killer, rapist type, da, da,
Mm-hmm.
da. You know, uh,
And you got to get into the zone, but
I
like,
could, yeah, but the thing is, I wouldn't necessarily want. I don't know if I would want people uh referring to me by something that, because I think that's your job.
mm-hmm.
That's your job to get there.
Okay, not
You know what I
theirs.
mean?
Yeah,
And so, you know, and you know, listen, man, and you know, and actors are, you know, really treated quite well. So, you know, there's more than enough time for you to get your personal space and all that stuff.
yeah.
Now, I do believe that, as I say, it's a collaborative art. You know,
Mm-hmm.
so obviously, you know, hopefully, you know, your director's on board. You know, you got your job to do, cinematographer done it, and you know, and let's say, you know, you're getting real emotional, and it's okay, we got to do it again. Well, why is that? Oh, because you were off like that. No. Okay, that I can understand.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Well, you know, hopefully, you know, you're tapped into what you need to tap into.
Mm.
You make that adjustment and then let it ride.
Yeah.
Um, and you know, you're constantly working in left and right brain
Mm-hmm.
also too. So I just want to make sure that, you know, my right brain is firing enough, where my, you know, into my left brain is just kind of just, you know,
Or I can
sitting
take
there.
both and regulate between them.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
you know what I mean. And so you know, it's I guess like anything else in life, it's where you work best.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and you need to find that. That's
Right.
part of those early day process,
Yeah,
isn't it?
yeah.
Yeah.
But if I am on set, if I'm screaming at somebody because all right, I'm off balance,
Mm.
and let's be honest, that person could be their first day or whatever. No, dude, they don't deserve that.
They don't deserve it. And you don't know how they got to be in that spot and what their
Thank you.
day has led them to be.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But see, but that's also a little lack of respect on your part for them. Now,
That's what I
mind
mean.
you, you
Yeah.
could be, listen, and let's be honest. Number one on the cast sheet, you know, they sort of set the tone,
Mm. Mm-hmm.
right? And so, and sometimes, you know what? And if they're setting that tone, okay, that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Is that necessarily a job you want to do?
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
You see my point?
Mm-hmm.
And so it's, as I say, it's what you want to sort of put out. You know what I mean?
Well, Bryan Cranston really talks about it. I just listened to him recently in a podcast. I think you and I might have been talking about the podcast Smartless, didn't I tell you?
Oh yes,
yeah. You checked it out?
I checked it out. Yes.
And he was talking about he does that. The first thing he sets the tone. He just sort of says, "Everyone, this is how we're going to run this ship.
Yeah.
No one's going to be screaming. No one's fighting.
No.
We're going to have fucking fun, no matter how, no matter what the content. It's going to be fun." And then if someone's really getting out of line, he'll pull them aside and say, "What's the problem? How can we fix it?"
And so you should.
Hey, fucking A.
And so you should.
Yeah, because especially when you have that power, use it. It's real simple.
That's right.
Real simple. You
That's
know.
right.
And I love the way that Daniel Day-Lewis speaks about, you know, this thing that everyone talks about with his method and what have you. He's like, he was really humble about it. I don't know if you've ever seen this clip. I think he's talking to Oprah, but he's like, "Look, I know that everyone has this thing where they think that I'm this fucking nightmare to be around because I'm in this rah. And he's like, I just don't have the energy to do both.
All right, dig it.
We were talking about energy allocation before.
Right,
He said, when I first started, I used to be, Mr. Friendly, rah, and I had nothing left in the fucking tank.
Yeah, dig it.
For me,
dig it.
So now I'm all in when I hit the lot, and that's it. Too bad.
All right, fine. The question is, he's not, but have you heard of stories of him mistreating people?
Never.
All right, well then there you go. That's good.
But that doesn't mean they don't exist. But I haven't heard them.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. Well, look,
Yeah.
dude, there's this old story that
You don't have to be a prick to people.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Well, dude, Lawrence, like, okay, I'm fucking sounding like I'm dropping names here. I don't give a fuck.
Mr. Fish.
Yeah, Mr. Fish.
Yeah.
He actually said, he told me all the time, he goes, look, dude, look, man, if you're actually good at what you do, you don't have to be an asshole.
100%.
You know what I'm saying?
100%.
And so it's like, yes, please. It's a thing of really just doing your job, you know? And so
I don't think there's ever a time where you need to be a prick. Now, you might need to be assertive. You might need to pull someone into line, and they might need a little bit of discipline or whatever because they're being an asshole. But you do not have to scream and shout and be a fucking prick. I mean, Hugh Jackman is a really sort of someone who speaks out about this a lot. He's like, it should be fun.
Thank you.
It needs to be fun.
It needs to be fun.
Yeah.
Thank you.
This is the greatest thing in the world that we're getting paid to do here.
But also, too, I think there also needs to be parameters where, like, let's say if you're number one on the cash sheet, and if you're screaming at somebody, and I kind of, and if somebody's not kind of go, okay, is there a problem here? Director, hey, is there a problem here? Or, blah, blah, blah. Then obviously something's out of whack.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, there's, there needs to be, I just think people just need to check themselves.
They need to check themselves and just fucking, but this comes back to what you were saying before, and it almost needs to be like, almost like a written fucking, rules of engagement for the set, right? The play caller or whoever sets the tone should set it that way. You know, like I want to say that this guy is one of the directors on Handmaid's Tale.
Okay,
I could be wrong about that, but he's a French Canadian director, I'm pretty sure. But anyways, he was saying, you know what? Those days when I was forced to start at 6 and finish at 9, and there was no breaks, and it was those are fucking done. And this whole scenario where everyone's on fucking edge and everyone's been forced to do things that are not,
kosher,
healthy or fucking whatever is bullshit. He's like, for me, in my contracts now, it's 9 to 5.
Yeah.
And if that means you go a month over, too fucking bad.
Too bad, right?
Yeah, I got kids. Everyone needs to get home. We need to be safe. You listen to the guys from Smallville, like Michael Rosenbaum and Tom Welling talking about like doing 16-hour days and then being asked to like drive themselves home at the end in the first season and what have you. Like, fuck that.
Yeah. Well, there's a famous cinematographer who's no longer with us, Haskell Wexler, he won an Oscar for, now if I'm not mistaken, would have been, I want to say Butterfly 8, and I'm going to get it wrong. I know. I'm going to say Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf. I know he shot them both, but I'm not quite sure if he won Oscars for them.
Right.
I think he did win.
So they did make a film out of that, did they?
What, Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf?
Yeah.
Oh, my friend.
Dude, I haven't.
Oh, you got to watch that.
Yeah. Because, there's a film that's just come out maybe 2 years ago with that Australian actress about Virginia Woolf and I'm sure.
Oh.
And a lesbian relationship that she had.
Yes.
Gemma Addison and the Aussie bird who was in Tenet.
Yes.
What's her name?
Oh,
she's crushing it.
Yeah. Oh, killing it.
Yeah.
Killing it. Yeah. And he actually started an initiative after a guy that he was mentoring was on the film. What's it? Is it Pleasantville? The one that was sort of in black and white.
Black and white, with Tobey Maguire and Reese Witherspoon.
Well, he had been working, like they were doing like 18, 19, 20-hour days, turning around, driving themselves. So, well, this mentee, he died in an auto accident. Sorry? I'm trying to remember his name, but it's Haskell Wexler who actually started the thing of just making sure that hours on set were sort of set hard, and so we're not, because people, they have to go home, to families, they have to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So and it's funny to think how sort of evolved we are in certain ways, and sometimes how kind of like, all right, and
archaic we are in
and
others.
you know what I mean. And so it's funny to think. Now, that's not to say, look, dude, I love being on set. I mean, God, it's be like, all right, let's go. You know what I mean? It's one of the things that you find the motivation to kind of go, oh, what time's the call time? Oh, 3:30. Okay, that's cool, right? And you're gonna be there. You're gonna be a little groggy and stuff. But the thing is, that you're gonna get into it. The day comes along,
The
and it's
adrenaline
going to
kicks
be,
up,
and it's going to be a good day. Even if it's a bad day on set, it's still going to be a good day.
Yeah, because
if
you're
you know what I
doing
mean.
something that's so amazing.
Yeah. And so,
and I think that perspective is lost in people who've been doing it for a long time and what have you. I mean, I listen to podcasts, and it doesn't happen that often, but you might. Actually, I was listening to Stanley Tucci.
Oh, Stanley Tucci, yes.
Yeah, and big fan. But he was, I don't want to say bitching, but he and Alec Baldwin was on Here's the Thing with Alec Baldwin. And he was talking about the hours and what have you, and just like, when I look at the big print and I go, that's going to be this and that's going to be 7 days here and that, I just, no. And I said, fuck.
Right.
There's plenty of us who'll take your spot, man.
But sometimes he can be a bit dry. If you know what I mean.
No, totally. Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Because he does have that. He does have that dispassionates in his intonation and what have you. Yeah.
He but it's interesting though when you think about, because obviously that's time spent on set. When you can look at the script, okay, they're going to take this and then that's
right. He knows everything.
Because they know how they're going to set it up, right? Yeah, so that's experience.
Yeah, that's 17 shots in the snow. Oh fuck, no.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But look, dude, at the end, listen, it's I remember I was doing this show once, dude, and it had to be like one of the coldest days I think I've ever spent in my life.
Wow.
To the point where I'm sitting and I'm looking at, I think it was Brad Dourif, who was in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, right? And I remember I'm sitting there, and when something's happening and you state the obvious, right? I have people like old ladies walk up to me and they go, "Wow, you're tall." I go, "Oh yeah, I am.
Shit,
thank
really?
you."
Fuck.
Yeah, you know what I mean? But on this particular day, I remember, and the temperature dropped, dude. I mean, it went from like,
where were you?
We were in
Michigan or something.
We were in no, it wasn't Michigan. It was in California, dude. It was in California, which was actually added to the bizarreness of it.
Right.
And so I remember sitting there and I'm thinking, oh my God, right? And you can start, you can see breath and all this stuff. And I remember I sat there and I'm sitting there and you're pounding your feet, you're doing whatever it is.
What are you fucking in a t-shirt and shorts?
Yeah, well, no. I had a jacket on, but still it was that cold that thank God I did.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
But I remember sitting there and I'm sitting there going, oh, and I look over Brad and I go, it's cold, isn't it? Right? It's just like, dude, of course it's cold.
Fucking you're shivering.
Words are forming, freezing, and falling to the ground, And so it's yeah, but even on those days, dude, I mean, you can complain or whatever, but it's like, dude, come on, you're working.
Yeah.
Something
to never lose sight of.
It's something that you don't want to lose sight of. But listen, I think also at the same time, certain things were developed that, like say Screen Actors Guild, the unions.
You still have to be protected
to help. Yeah, because there will be those who will push the limit and try to see whether or not they can get away with things, which is unfortunate.
Old mate Whedon is in fucking hot water.
Really?
Joss Whedon, yeah, man, because he's
yes, I heard about that. Yeah,
to everyone and treats him like shit, and now he's got all these people coming like this cancel culture. I actually just got asked today to be in a documentary talking about the trouble with society, and there's all these sort of bullet or cliff notes not the right word, subjects to share our thoughts on. and cancel culture is in that realm. To think about what I want to say about that without getting myself.
I always find that word interesting because it comes from, obviously it comes from a state of people kind of going, okay, listen, that behavior, we're not going to abide by anymore. Right? Okay, I can understand that. And if someone comes out and says, hey, look, man, I was a prick. I'm sorry. Listen, it was just a thing. I was losing my mind, blah, blah, blah. Right? Okay, fine. You know what I mean? I do believe in redemption. I do, you know, but sometimes you often wonder, let's say if, and I'm I'm be devil's advocate here. Thank you. All right, let's say, would you ask somebody who had survived, let's say, the Jewish concentration camps, and they had a chance to, let's say, if we fast forward, whatever, and Hitler was alive, whatever, and they had a chance to actually talk to Hitler, would they actually cancel him out?
Hell yeah, I think they would.
You see my point? So the thing is, I always believe I always think everything's perspective, dude. It is. You know what I mean? The thing is it a blanketed thing? Okay, you've done this. Okay, boom. You know what I mean? No, we can't do that. I don't think,
which is what's happening though.
Yeah. I think everything has to be, if it's going to be brought up, it needs to be discussed. Well, see, dude, listen, okay, let's be honest. The actual art of debate is gone. And I'm sure people who are doing debate, they're going, oh, well, that's not how you do it. But you know what I mean? Yeah. But listen, even when you look at, and I'm referring now to the presidential debate between Hillary Clinton and Donald J. Trump.
Well, the last one wasn't great.
Now, the thing is, I was so uncomfortable. Right?
Yeah, right.
Because there were things that was happening in that debate that were beyond, just beyond wrong. Now, whether or not, if you were a fan of Hillary's or not, that I think that's a whole other point. But the fact that he was sort of hovering over her and doing this, and I kind of went, oh my God, are you kidding me?
He's a bully.
Now that bullying, no, fuck no. Sorry. No. Sorry, that's got to go. That in and of itself, bullying, I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm done.
Man,
you know what I mean?
Bullied for all of high school.
Dude, I was bullied as a child. I know, as big as I am, I know. But I was bullied.
Oh, dude, I remember the biggest guy in our class was bullied.
Yeah.
And he was a gun on the football field, but he was a very quiet and
because
shy
they could,
guy. And they just...
But that's another thing. And maybe that's why I just don't like the fact now that, when somebody's treated unfairly. You know what I mean? In this day and age, to think about, I got to be honest. Look, when my kids were growing up, dude, and all this stuff, even the thought of them being bullied would just make me, I'd be one of those parents. I just walk into school. Okay, who is it? Dude, it's funny. It's like you kind of went, wow, that parent's a bit intense. Dude, have kids, then let's talk.
Dude, so in the middle of high school, I'm like, I've been in one fight in my life, right? And it was a terrible fight. This is pathetic. I'm not an aggressive person, and I have a lot of trouble. I can deal with any kind of confrontation other than physical. Physical kind of rattles me. But I remember playing football, and this little shithead was just constantly jabbing me and poking me behind the play. My fucking dad was there, and he ran around to the side of the field and called this kid out. And he's like, do you want me to come out? Because I'll fucking sort this kid out right now.
Yeah, dude. Well, that's, you know what? And the thing is, and God bless your dad, the thing is, that's a protective mechanism that is built in all parents.
Yeah.
Now, I was just thinking about this the other day. The most terrified look, I think, you can ever see is when a dad has a newborn, right? And the newborn needs something and the dad doesn't quite know what to do. That has to be the most terrified look you could ever see. Moms can deal with it.
Yeah.
Dads are still trying to like, okay, until it gets to a certain age, then they're kind of like going, okay, we can do this. You know?
They've been trained up for a couple of years now.
They've been trained up, you know what I mean? And so, but it's still, it's just that thing. It's inherited. It's inherited in all of us that, you know, we are here to protect, especially our kids.
Yeah.
You know, you know, listen, I wasn't okay. You know, a little history on me. My brothers, like they ran around in gangs. Actually, you know, they probably started one of the famous gangs in LA. But I was always told, they said, okay, you know what? If we ever catch you doing this, no, you know, we're gonna kill you.
Yeah,
I was like,
right.
wait. I mean, and that's how they put it, right?
Yeah, okay.
It wasn't like, oh, hey,
no,
you know,
you've got a shot at not being a part of
yeah.
this.
And they went, no, you said you do good in school, Don. You keep doing what you do. He says, and he actually, and my brother, I'll never forget. He goes, you get a pass, so you're gonna be okay. And I didn't understand what that was, right? And I was like, well, what about John's my younger brother? He goes, no, John's John. All right, but you, I'm talking about you right now.
And do you know why you?
Dude, I had no idea. I have no idea. I mean, I did pretty well in school, you know, whatever. But and I didn't understand what that was until I was bullied. I was bullied at school, and then my brother, he was at the table.
Young one or the older?
This is my older brother,
right?
And I never forget this. And he said, hey, man, so, and like, you know, because we always, everything came out at the dinner table. You wanted the truth, it was coming out at the dinner table, right? And so usually when someone says, hey, man, you know, something was about to go down. And so I remember my brother went, hey, what happened at school today? Just like that.
Was he at school with you?
He was, he was at the upper echelon. I was a little younger. Yeah, so he's
cool,
like, I think 6th grade, and I was like, you know, 2. And I went, nothing. And he went, no, what happened?
Bullshit.
What happened? And I go, well, what do you mean? And he goes, well, somebody messed with you today. And that's how he put it. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, you know. But in my mind's eye, I dealt with it. I was cool. I got out of it, right? And he went, oh, so it was Dalton's little brother, right? And he goes, yeah, it was, but it's all right. It's okay. Don't worry about it, right? So next day, right, that kid walks up to me crying. I mean, you know, like to the point where he's hyperventilating.
Fucking hell.
And I'm still not putting 2 and 2 together.
Right.
I'm going, dude. And me, I'm kind of going, oh, you okay? Like, that type of thing, right? Yeah. Dude, you all right? And he can't even get the words out.
Yeah.
He can't even get the words out. Like, I'm sorry, right? And finally, you know, he finally does. And I say, oh, no, it's okay. Look, you know, I'm taking him to the nurse and shit. Like, I'm like going, what the, right? And so I'm not even there yet,
clocking,
right?
Yeah.
And so I get home. And my brother's sitting there eating, right? Not saying a word. And all of a sudden he goes,
how was school today?
He goes, hey, man. Yeah, did somebody come up to you today? And he says it just like that.
Yeah.
And I went, yeah. And then he goes, well, what did he say? I go, well,
it's a lot of slobber and tears.
Yeah, well, it said, I mean, he didn't really, he was crying and all this stuff. I said, well, did he say sorry? Well, yeah. And he goes, okay. That's all he said, and goes back into his plate, right? Like, you know, and then it was like ding, 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 right? Like when I watch a movie like The Godfather, like a lot of people are like, oh, and I go, no, I understand how that works.
Yeah.
I understand so much how that works.
Hierarchy. Yeah.
You know? And so it's a I was going on a tangent here, and I completely forgot what it was. But no.
But you know, so much.
It happens so much. But no, it's that thing of, listen, I was lucky. I was lucky to, as I said, I'm lucky to actually be breathing. You know what I mean?
Because they looked out for you, and they made sure that you didn't run.
Well, they were making sure that I kind of stayed on. I didn't have the other BS that was going on, just to allow myself to.
Probably going to regret this question, but are your brothers?
No. One's not. Two aren't. No. And so it's So look, and I think for me,
because of that life.
And so I know for me, and here's the thing about that too. They had already got out of that life. I had one brother who was a producer for Dick Clark. My other brother was he was a merchant marine because he was a good cook, right?
Yeah, cool. I was in the merchant navy, but
yeah, you know what I mean. But it's that thing. It follows you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's almost as if like it's almost as if it's you sort of get tagged with something that it's hard to wash off.
Yep.
Which is why they were so insistent on me. Look, I was the type of kid, dude. I was always away from home anyway. I mean, look, I literally left home at 11. You know what I mean?
Because go where?
Okay. Well, no, because I went to, because my mom didn't like the way the city school system was going.
Okay, this is in LA.
This is in LA.
And where in LA?
I was born in South Central.
Okay,
like where actually where Boys in the Hood was filmed. We were the street right around the corner.
Yeah. Okay. Wow.
Right. Yeah, so South Central, but like literally lived all over. Yeah, so okay, dude, I completely lost it. Okay, talking about my brothers, like
you left home at 11.
Thank you. Left home at 11. So I ended up going to private all-boy Catholic school.
Oh shit.
Now, mind you, 11 years old. So, certain things are starting to juices are starting to come up, right? And I'm thinking, wait, what?
I gotta be all boys.
To all boys, Catholic. We weren't Catholic.
Oh, really?
We were Baptist. We were Baptist, right? Okay. That whole thing, right? And it's a boarding school, right? So I'm thinking to myself, and I remember that summer, dude. That summer was insane because I remember my mom and I were fighting, and I'm not. And look, me and my mom were both. I was close to both my parents. Me and my mom were pretty tight. I'm thinking, Mom, what did I do? I literally said, what did I do? I said, why? You're taking away from all my friends, where I can go. And the school I was going to go to was a nice school. I wouldn't went to public school. It was a nice school. She goes, yeah, but there's a lot of stuff that's going on in school. There's drugs and stuff. Like, Mom, I'm not going to do drugs. That whole thing,
oh, shit.
Right? But she goes, no, you got to go. You have to go. And I guess she got a deal package with me and my younger brother. And I'm thinking to myself, what is going on? Now, at this school, apparently you couldn't wear jeans.
Oh yeah.
Right. I was always wearing jeans.
I went to a private school.
Yeah.
Catholic private school,
and apparently your afro, as they were put, couldn't be any more than 2 inches long. I'm thinking to myself, what, are they gonna put a ruler in my hair? Oh yeah, they were putting rulers. They were putting rulers in their hair.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking to myself, dude, ain't nobody putting a ruler, because we used to kind of comb it back and let it slide back down in the back, right? Try to get away with it. And then literally, I remember one day he came up and put a ruler in my hair. I said, "Are you serious?" And I actually said something that was a bit like, I said, "Do you want to check my teeth now?" Right? And he just looked at me, and it was like I was making a reference to something else, and they were like going, and so, but I have to say though, I will say this though, if it wasn't for that, I really don't know where I'd be right now.
Yeah, okay.
You know what I mean?
It was the right move.
It gave me a certain discipline also,
That's my reflection on being in public and private. Is I had been in private my whole life, and at the last minute, for whatever reason, my dad decided to put me in a public school, and it was a fucking nightmare. And it was purely a lack of discipline in the public, and that I now really respect.
Yeah,
even though I'm not religious, and it was all Catholic schools, going to church the whole bit. But the discipline made me a better student.
It was a lot of stuff happened there, dude. It was once I realized that I had people who enjoyed practical jokes, I was like going, ooh, okay, I think I can live here, right? You know what I mean? Mind you, I was kind of getting away with murder. My brother, on the other hand, he sort of didn't dig it at all. And he was doing stuff like he drew a mustache on the patron saint, you know what I mean? And it was just kind of like going, and I'm thinking to myself, he drew a mustache, and what? He didn't break anything, did he?
Yeah.
He goes, no, but that's a fact.
Sacrilegious.
That whole thing, right?
Yeah.
But mind you, he got caught up in the incident that I actually had to defend him. I'm 14 years old. I'm having to defend him. And I'm thinking to myself, I said, why am I here? And it was and I'm not gonna say actually what it is. I know you're gonna ask that, but I'm saying I had to defend my brother in a way that I shouldn't really have to defend him because of the certain power structure that was already sort of like sort of pushing him to the side. Now, mind you, I was trying to think, well, why are you here? You know, because I got called away from basketball practice to go to see what was happening to him, and I'm thinking, well, you know, I said, what's wrong? Why are you crying? You know, he goes, oh, they got me, I'm in trouble. I said, well, what did you do? And he goes, well, I didn't. Okay, he said, he goes, they said I punched brother Chris, and I said, well, did you hit him? And he goes, yeah. But hold on, he goes, but no. And I'm kind of thinking, but he was crying. I was thinking, oh, okay, right. I said, okay, man, I'll be back. Just stay here. Don't worry. So I go in, I'm talking to, so basically it's the principal, vice principal, athletic director, the head of student affairs, and Father Bob. Father Bob and I were pretty tight. We used to talk because he was father from Oakland, so he kind of knew, you know, we could talk about all sorts of stuff. And I remember I'm sitting there, and they're basically telling me what my brother did, right? And I'm sitting there kind of thinking, well, I said, well, yeah, but why did he hit him? Because my brother's not violent. You know, we were taught, listen, don't get in any fights, but then again, don't let any, you know, we didn't raise any punching bags either. Okay. So, all right. So I remember I'm sitting there, and then all of a sudden I'm kind of thinking, well, why? Like, no. And so there was a hole in the story. Right. And I'm thinking, this ain't right. I said, well, you know, at the end of the day, you're going to have to call my mom and dad. Right. And they says, oh, no. And but here's the thing. Here's the kicker. Oh, no. We don't need to involve. I said, well, what are you talking about? I mean, you are talking about suspending. I mean, you're going to have to call my mom and dad.
They get notice when he doesn't go to school.
And so I kind of go, I said, all right, well, look, I need to go see my brother. Just hold on. Right. And I never forget this, dude. This all started at 3:10 in the afternoon. I'll never forget it as long as I live. And so I go back to my brother, and finally I say, hey, man, so tell me about no. And I said, no. So it comes to find out that brother Chris actually tried to touch.
Was waiting for it.
Right? And I was like going, oh, wait a minute. What? I said, seriously? He goes, yeah. And he started, I go, no, dude, don't cry. It's not your, whoa, slow your roll. And so I'm going thinking, so is that what happened? And so you hit him because of that. All right, end of story, dude. You're good. I said, you're good. I said, you know what? I'm going to get you something to eat. We're going to be fine. So I go to the cafeteria. I get him something to eat. I didn't get anything for myself. I go there, and I go back in there, right? And I go, okay, listen, this is what's going to happen. You got to call my mom and dad, and you got to call the police. Right? I'm 14 years old. Right?
Yeah.
And they're kind of going, whoa. And I go, no. And I said, listen, you're going to need to call the police, because once my dad finds out, all hell's going to break loose.
Yeah.
Right?
Can you imagine?
And I said it as a joke, but at the same time, I had to think, shit, I got to tell my parents. Right? So, you know, which is why you saw that movie Dawe, right?
I was literally just about to say.
Oh my God. When they go through that scene, dude, I'm just sitting there going, oh my God. But here's, dude, it just tears my heart out. Dude, the fact that It's the fact that, all right, you know what? All right, okay, that's okay if it happens to him, because the thing is, you know what? It has to be better than the life he's lived. Oh my God, dude. Oh, ooh.
Fucking hectic. I mean, there was a town outside of Perth in a place called New Norcia, and a very good friend of mine was wrapped up in that whole thing. And he just recently went to court over it. He's in his 60s. Fucking, it's wild.
But see, even that happened to him when he was a kid, and now he's 60, and he's, oh, dude, ooh. See, that to me. Okay, first of all, okay, you're a church. You're supposed to help people. I'm sorry. You're supposed to help souls. Let's be honest. You're supposed to help souls. Now, let me see the reason why I say there's a little history on me. I was going to be a priest at one time. That's right. I wasn't even Catholic. I was going to be a priest.
Shit.
Thank you. Right?
Mic drop.
But here's the thing. You're supposed to help souls.
Doesn't matter who.
But, and here's the thing. I'm trying to remember the word. Fallible and infallible. Infallible is when you're
without fault.
You have fault. Infallible is when you don't have fault.
No, it's the other way around.
It's the other way around.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Right. So here's the thing. The fact that kids who have nowhere to go go to the one place that is, and remind me to tell you about a horror story, about the horror story theory. Go to a place where they're supposed to be safe. And then that happens.
Yeah.
Dude, are you kidding me? Now, okay, The Exorcist. Now, I don't consider The Exorcist a horror movie. I think of it as another thing. Because you're taking the thing. Okay, and here's my thing on that. Here's my thing on that. Okay, talking about The Exorcist and the horror story theory. Okay. So you have this girl, this 12-year-old girl who's just enjoying life, right? But she gets possessed by the devil. Now, in my mind's eye, right, that to me is the ultimate sort of horror, because what could a girl do? What could a girl do? 12 years old girl do this so bad that God says, fuck it. You know what I mean? See, and that to me, you can have any horror you want come out. That to me, what the hell? Anyway, fuck.
But have you watched Euphoria?
Yes. Thank you.
Right?
Thank you.
And that fucking final scene where she's talking to her sponsor.
Thank you.
How is my dad any less than? And that's where I draw the line too, right? Like exactly what you just said. You know, and Stephen Fry says it best too. He's like, why should a 6-month-old baby have bone cancer?
Thank you. It's hard. And that's not to say, look, dude, I have faith. I have, but I don't. I think faith is like anything else. It has to be personal for who the believer is, right? And to give you an example, it's like this. If I were to say, and I can put this in acting terms, if I were to say, hey, let's go have dinner, right? Okay, fine, right? A lot of actors would say, hey, all right, I'm going to try to have an acting career, instead of saying, I'm going to have an acting career.
Yeah.
So we have more faith in one thing that we don't see yet than something else that, we kind of believe we have in our hearts. And so which is why, language and things like that is important, and how you talk to yourself.
Language is so fucking important.
And how you talk to yourself
is important.
It's most important because
your body believes what you tell it.
Thank you. And the thing is too, you have to make sure there's fertile soil around you to fucking grow things.
Dude, you in my mind, I'm thinking of something, and you say, you need to have fertile soil.
Mm-hmm.
When my wife and I were trying to conceive, we're both 39, turning 40 this year, and the doctor's like, "Oh, you've got like a 7% chance." I'm like, don't fucking have any hope. Don't get your hopes too high, rah. And I'm like, fuck that guy. And then
thank you.
I start listening to this woman, a psychologist called Marissa Peer, and she talks about exactly that, talking about that your body believes what your mind tells it. And she tells this story about a woman who went into menopause in her mid-30s and was devastated. And she, as a clinical psychologist, coached her out of menopause, and she conceived and had a child and what have you, and then went back into menopause, and which is incredible.
Wow.
Because the body believed the new narrative that her mind was giving it.
Thank you.
And so my wife comes home and she's like, "Oh, if I can say this," and I said, "Well, fuck them." I said, "From now on, it's happening.
It's going to happen.
It's not just if, it's when." And it took us
thank you
5 months.
Thank you.
Without following any kind of structure or anything like that.
Well, the thing is, it's the most natural thing on earth. And then you have all these other voices telling you what should happen. And you're kind of thinking, I tell you what, as my younger brother, you would say, "Hey, listen, I tell you what, I'm going to do this, right? I tell you what, you having a problem? Talk to me. I'll put some oatmeal up in there. All right." And that's how he used to put it, dude. I used to think, wow. But here's the thing. Here's the thing, dude. It's a thing of it's your beliefs. It's your beliefs. Now, I don't know. Everyone's going, "What was this podcast about?" I have no idea.
Me neither.
but the thing is, it's at the end of the day, if you're an artist, beautician, what have you, man, is what you believe. And what you believe is actually quite important. Sometimes what you believe might go against what you were, maybe what your parents believe. That's fine, right? But as long as you believe it wholly in your heart,
it'll happen.
I don't think anything is out of the realm of possibility.
No fucking way.
You know what I mean?
You said something before about you were talking like the segue into this where you spoke about like going to dinner or believing.
Let's go have dinner instead of like, "Oh, I might have a."
So my dad, I have this reoccurring conversation with him where he's like, "So what's the plan? Like, what if it doesn't work out?" And I'm like,
"Right.
What do you mean? What's the plan?
Right.
The plan is it's working out."
Thank you.
Because I wouldn't fucking bother doing it if I didn't think it would.
Right.
And if I started to think about having a backup, it definitely isn't happening.
Well, there you go. Because the thing is, people don't see. All right. There's a thing of, what is it? It's intentions and actions.
Yeah.
We know our intentions. People judge us by our actions.
What they can see. Yeah.
But the thing is, for every idea, for every action that actually makes itself, for that table, for that chair, for that camera, that all started with an intention, a creative intention.
Well, an intention that came from an idea.
Thank you.
Yeah. Right. Everything that we are is based on an idea.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so even us sitting here,
yeah.
Our bodies and DNA, whatever.
Baby. That's an idea.
Right. Right there. As my brother would say. Anyway. And so it's, but see, it's that thing. It's that idea. Now, the question is whether or not that idea had enough soil to nurture itself. To make it happen.
Yep.
And let's be honest. Look, and we all know people that, you probably wouldn't spend 5 minutes with, let alone having to basically have them decide your fate. So, there's nothing wrong sometimes with, moving or making new friends or finding a whole new environment, life, whatever, to actually help nurture that dream. And so,
fuck yeah, dude.
And
100%.
And and the thing is too, you're going to have a lot of people who are going to tell you no.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's how it is. Because the thing is, but those no's are basically testing whether or not just how bad
you want
it.
Yeah.
So that no is nothing more than me stepping over this box in order to kind of to get out that door.
Well, my wife is working on a jewelry line at the moment. She's been down in the shed for like the last week. She started just before Layla was born. We went to market, and it was really, really cool. And she's just getting the motion back up again. And,
Right.
you know, she's hit a couple of road bumps, you know, design ideas and what have you. And I'm like, baby, this is how it happens. And every one of these things is a step to you working it out.
That's right.
And it is the hours spent perfecting your craft. And without them, you don't have anything.
And you don't have anything.
No, and you need them. Yeah.
But that's you paying your dues in order to, because what this is you're making your line, it's basically an extension of who you are.
For sure.
That is, and who you are is, and I'm not just speaking about your wife, I'm talking about all artists, whatever. You are unique on this planet. You came here for that reason. And whatever that reason is, which is hard, because what does Mark Twain say? It goes, the day that there the two most important days are the day you were born and the reason why you were.
Okay.
Right. And they are. And that takes, and sometimes you got to walk through, and I believe that true beauty is you have to walk through a lot of fire and a lot of ugly to get to true beauty.
What gives you perspective.
Right. Because the thing is, you get to see, like, you know, and even if it's scarred up at the end, but still it's just like, oh my God, it cannot be denied. It cannot be denied.
So long as you have the self-awareness to not let the scar tissue create a blind spot from the good.
And that's the hard part. It's because it's easy to kind of just, there's a lot of pain.
Fucking A.
There's a lot of pain in this world. Okay. I was always told that, you know, we cannot feel any emotion until we feel love first.
Which you should feel the second you come out the womb, right?
Right?
Yeah.
So that being said, no matter how painful something is, know that there's a love aspect to it. The question is, we have to find where that love is.
Yeah.
Because sometimes that can help ease that pain. And sometimes it can make it maybe makes it worse. I don't know. But at the same time, but the thing is, you have to know, like what your dad said, that's coming out of a fear.
Yeah. Because
like, oh my God. Yeah. But at the same time, but it's a love thing.
Yeah,
it's totally. A love, because I just want, you know,
and the thing is safe. I want you to be happy.
Yeah. No parent wants their kids to kind of have it worse than what they did.
Yeah.
Hence, you know, that's why I'm here. And so there's always going to be that. That's a protective thing. And you know, and sometimes it comes out of fear. But I know, you know, I'm knocking on wood on this one because I know it's going to bite me in the face. I know that I have to kind of, you know, give them the basics, give them, you know,
and then let them run with it,
and then let them run with it. You know, and so
has to.
And so but I think, you know, at the end of the day, it's you know, but as I said, love is how we got here, and basically love is how we feel everything else. And so if we can just sort of remember that and almost reverse engineer sometimes in order to kind of go, oh, all right, hold on, maybe, you know, and hopefully that leads to a little more compassion, empathy, what have you. Mate,
I reckon that's probably a good place to nip her in the bud.
I don't even think we talked about acting. We didn't talk about acting. But anyway, hey, what you gonna do, right? Hey,
exactly.
You know?
No. Listen, man, I really appreciate you doing this. I really, really do. It's been nice to get to know you. And I hope this isn't the last. And yeah, thanks very much.
No, man, thank you, man. Thank you.
Awesome.
You. Thanks for having me.
Anytime.
All right.
Rock and roll.